Welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm working on a layout for the Traci Reed creative team. This is for her new release titled Besties Who Brunch. Make sure you check out my description box below my video to get the hop list for this hop. Also, I am working on 31 days of Cutfiles with some assemblage required in Galaxy Girl Creations. They made Cutfiles for every day in the month of August, and I bought their digital cut file package so that I could play as I can. This is day 3. I did day 1. I have not done day 2 yet. I think I said on day 1 that I hope to eventually do all of the cut files, but for now I'm going to just kind of do the ones that I can get to. So let's look at the product that I have. There's the photo I'm going to be scrapbooking. I have some ink here. This is the cut files. I've already cut them in white. I printed this sheet of 12 by 12 pattern paper from the Besties Who Brunch collection. I have a little plastic case of all of the ephemera stickers that I have print and cut. And so I have those to play with. I've got a couple sheets of the journaling cards. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. We'll see. It's just a piece of white cardstock to map my photo. And then I have the Traveler's Notebook papers. They start with all the patterns. This is kind of a view of all of the patterns in this beautiful collection. And so here's kind of your view of all of the patterns in the collection. When you print the Traveler's Notebook, you also get all of the solids, which I have already cut into to back another cut file. So I'm going to pause. We're going to get started with this. I'll be right back. All right, so I want to do one clarification here. The cut files for 31 days of sketches are the numbers that I'm going to be using on the layout. The words celebrate and years are cut files that I pulled out of my Silhouette Studio software. So what I'm showing you here is where I actually glue together 3 of the same cut file. And I love doing this because it gives the cut file the same type of texture and depth as if you were using a set of thickers, titles, or something like that. And I just love the way it looks. This was a trick that I learned from Jennifer McGuire Inks. She is an amazing card maker, and I do follow her on YouTube, and I've watched several of her videos, and I got this idea from her. And so I thought that I would go ahead and incorporate it into my scrapbooking, since I kind of despise making cards. Just not my thing. I love getting handmade cards, and I do make them once in a while, but it's not just something I reach for. So just a personal preference. So one of the great things about cut files and cutting them with white cardstock is you can color them whatever color that you would like. So I am coloring my 2 title pieces, the red, and you can see I have help. In case you're new here, that is Penny. She is a brand new kitten addition to my household, and she definitely likes to help, if that's what you want to call this. So here is the cut file from 31 days of cut files. They're really cute number candles, great for birthdays. I'm actually using them for these photos. These are kind of anniversary photos. We celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary back in April. These photos were not taken until May because my husband is currently deployed, and he came home on leave in May for 10 days, and so we had some photos taken. And so that is kind of just a celebration for our 33rd wedding anniversary. Now I am actually showing you how I personally back a cut file. There is more than one way to do it. This is how I prefer to do it. I know others will just lay the cut file on top of the paper that they're going to put underneath it, and then they trim it. I find that I don't get as clean lines that way, and so I trace and then cut if you can see how I've started cutting that 3, I cut just a little bit of a border around my lines so that it completely covers that cut file. And then, of course, I actually glue down as I go. So I put in the melted candle wax on there, and I used a lighter color for the melted candle wax than I did for the actual 3, and I'm using some of the Traveler's Notebook solids that are part of this collection. So you can see where I've completely covered the 3, and now I'm adding the red flame. I think it's a really cute cut file, and it was great to be able to use it. Sometimes I'm not always good about using the cut files I buy, so I was quite happy to be able to start using these cut files. Now, next up, I'm gonna just begin the process of matting my photo. My photo is a 3x4. This is a piece from the Solid Traveler's Notebook, but it's just kind of a plain white, and I'm gonna cut a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece to mat that photo in white. Now, these photos that we had some taken in civilian clothes, and we had others taken in my husband's uniform, and I'm in a ball gown. And they turned out really, really great, so that was nice. Next up, I'm going to start trimming down my Traveler's Notebook papers that I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut a 1.5 inch strip of each one that I'm going to be using on this layout. I am using that blue ledger as my background, so I'm going to want prints that don't disappear on it, so I wouldn't want to use the other light blue print, or the additional blue ledger from the Traveler's Notebook set, just the ones that will pop on this as a background. So I am going to be alternating some more solid colors versus the floral prints. I love the floral prints. If you know me, you know I adore flowers on my layouts, and so I did find it fun to be able to mix and match these patterns and just kind of create a staggered background using 1.5 inch strips of every color that I use. I think I end up using 5, I think. I do love this gingham. It will also make a great background for a layout. I have not printed out all of the patterns in 12x12. I just printed 2 or 3. And actually, there's another one that I printed when I started printing this collection the first time. My Canon printer didn't tell me it was out of ink, and the blue heart print that I used on August 1st's layout printed orange. It's kind of a cool print, but not the right color scheme. I just kind of set it aside, and I thought I might try to use it for another layout another time rather than just wasting it. Other than the fact that it was supposed to be blue and not orange, it's a great pattern. Also love the plaids that Traci makes in her collections. They're always absolutely amazing. And so here I bring in the 5th pattern, and I'm going to kind of just scooch these over and start adhering them down so that I have them somewhat in the middle. And I love to do stuff like this because then you can play with more than just a few of the different patterns. This is a great way to use up Traveler's Notebook size papers. And again, like I said, it gets several different patterns from the collection onto my layout. So now I'm going to kind of play around with placement of my title. I knew what I was going to be using as a title on the layout, just wasn't quite sure about placement because I want these 3s to look great, but I also don't want my layout to be weird. I was looking for the S in years, it disappeared. I do find it, which is awesome, because if I hadn't found it, then I would have had to recut it and color it, but I did find it. And Now I'm just going to start layering up some stuff. I've got a lot of the different florals. I think the very first one that I'm putting down is actually one that I cut in half, or I think I cut that particular one into thirds to use on my layout on the first. And so I just wanted to make sure I used up the rest of it. I do want to get a few of the butterflies onto this layout, and then it'll be mostly ready for me to share it finished with you. So I am going to kind of dig through all of the single flowers and kind of use those to layer up around the floral clusters that I chose. That helps me to kind of add some depth and a little bit of texture to this layout. I really enjoyed creating this layout, and I'm going to kind of go through some of the other things and maybe decide on a different butterfly here and there. We'll see. I really loved these little butterflies. They're super sweet, and love the little flying tails around them. But as I continue just to add some layers, I think we're about done here. All right, I got this layout completely finished. Went together relatively quick after I backed that cut file. I really like how that turned out. And of course, I love being able to layer up the flowers and the labels and the journaling spots. These butterflies are just adorable. I love them. My kitten loves them too. I keep finding them on the floor where she has taken off with them. So I guess Miss Tracy, I need to make her own butterfly so she'll stop eating mine or something like that. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel. If you are new here, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Please ask any questions about this layout or anything that I've used or technique that I've done in this layout. Drop those below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Make sure that you check out that description box below so that you can see the hop list for this beautiful collection for today. And also make sure that you check out the links below for some assemblage required and Galaxy Girl Creation so that you can check out my friends and see their awesome creativity with these with this same set of cut files. Remember, the words were not from Some Assemblage Required. This is the cut file for August 3rd. And you get an entire set of candle numbers. I just only used 2 3s. So thank you again for being here, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Bye.